Welcome to North Dakota After Dark Underground. Because it's underground, it's after dark, and it's North Dakota. She added another wrinkle to it early on in season 2. We're joined by Corey and Kelly on Kelly's podcast.
That's right.
Welcome everybody to the basement. I'm happy to.
When you say welcome, you're welcome. Yeah, we're glad to be here.
Like, we need like an edit made off screen. Actually, photo would be perfect for that. Yeah. You're welcome, buddy.
Sorry.
No, that's great. I think that's a great idea.
Brandon, have we got an opportunity for you?
Yeah. You want to sit in a basement with us?
What an opportunity.
I feel like we could hire this out as reaction man.
Yeah.
Man who reacts.
Yeah.
Man who reacts.
Now,
I use any of those terms loosely.
Yeah, no, it feels that we're missing someone there that has a legit knee slapper.
Usually that's the fluffer.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, okay. I think you can split fluffer and knee slapper, but that's okay.
That could go a different
Split
way.
the difference.
Yeah.
But we're underground.
Yeah.
So take it any way you want.
Yeah.
So we're all sitting in the corner like it's an awkward 8th grade party.
Yeah.
With beer, so it's an awkward 8th grade Saskatchewan party. just to give everybody a little bit of context.
Have you washed any of these jerseys before you hung
Oh
them?
yeah, oh
Just
gosh. Eric Fabian's gonna not watch this episode. He hates that Waro jersey.
Yeah, it's a problem.
It is kind of a problem. We got a Houston Arrows. I found that was $1.50 at Salvation Army, a Hockey Academy, a women's hockey, a Red Wings jersey. I also bought it at a garage sale.
I will be at a Red Wings game on Friday.
Yeah, who are they playing?
The Carolina Hurricanes.
Every time I go somewhere and there's a game on, it's the Carolina
who they're
Hurricanes.
playing? Yeah.
I don't want to see the Hurricanes again.
No.
I don't like them.
No, I'm finding things to do in Detroit. So when we were like, how about an NHL game? I'm like, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's interesting because you'd be closer to Ann Arbor, which would be a better place to look rather than going all the way to the city. However, if you're at Joe Louis, do you know what's there?
No.
Casino. There are 2 casinos.
It's funny you should
in
say
Greektown.
that because I have been doing my research on these casinos because I'm not going anywhere if I can't find a casino. Is one of those the MGM?
Yes.
Okay.
And the best
That's where I want to go.
casino is about 25 miles from where you're staying, and it's in Toledo.
Okay.
So you got to go to Ohio, but that's far better.
I could talk Andrea into going to Ohio. I know I could.
My cousin Jenny will drive you.
Okay. Hell yeah.
She's always up for a Toledo run. So if you want some more, let her know.
I certainly do. I'm in Detroit for a week.
Yeah.
I got to fill the time.
I can hook you up.
Okay.
Am I allowed to hang my Notre Dame jersey down here?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Awesome.
We got Laverne Youth Hockey, Old Hockey Academy. We Saskatchewan Notre Dame.
Nice.
St. Petersburg. That's a signed St. Petersburg jersey on the back.
Fancy place.
Yes, yeah. USA Hockey Women, Boston University, UND Law School. You noticed the letter on there? That was mine.
Wow.
A Denmark jersey that was left behind at the U18s.
Did you bring the beer and that's why they made you the assistant captain?
Alternate captain.
Whatever it is.
Corey's out.
Sorry.
Also, now hiring North
it.
Dakota After Dark.
Yeah. Position just open.
Position open.
You might have a point there, but you also said Corey's out.
Well, it's the 8th grade Canadian
Oh,
party.
okay.
That brought it out.
Hey,
Touche.
I had to test him the other day about when you're a child, you have a dad and
And it came out.
he said, "Mom." He failed.
yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, let's a little time with Ulmer recently.
Yep.
So I don't want to leave him out.
Yeah.
Hey.
It was a test.
That space outside of your house, but connected to your house where you put your vehicles, what do you call that?
It's one syllable. It's a garage.
Yeah. Okay.
Garage.
You haven't spent
Oh,
time with Homer.
That's terrible sounding.
It is, but
Garage.
who's got the time for 2 syllables?
That's true. He's got
Certainly
it.
not Saskatchewan.
Yeah. Yeah. A garage.
Possibly our newest 51st state.
Yeah, fair.
I have a Young Adler Mannheim. That is the youth. So Adler Mannheim is where actually Young Adler is where Leon Draisaitl played.
Oh, no.
And so they used to bring a team over that would train in Grand Forks for a couple weeks at a time, and got to be friends with their coach Frank Fischoder. When we lived.
Stop it.
Yeah, honestly,
Dr. Frankfurter?
Frank Fischoder.
Okay.
Fish. Oh,
He has a house in Sicily that he invites us to all the time. We haven't been.
How was the food?
take the legal means to change that, okay? You don't have to, just because that's the hand you were dealt, doesn't mean it's the hand you have to
Can you
play.
imagine if you had a daughter?
That's what
Oh, that's exactly where my mind went, Corey.
Yeah, I
Like,
know.
God damn it.
This is German number that all starts with
That's
fours.
Fischander.
Yeah.
Oh, Corey would know. What's Argentina like, Corey?
It's lovely.
Nice if you get rid of the cyanide.
Lovely.
Long story short, they gave me that jersey the one time they were here. I invited Frank when our kids were, she said, might have only had Archie at the time. Invited Frank out to our house in Thompson for dinner. Came out at 7, had dinner, it was nice sitting on the couch. I was like, hey, anytime you want me to take you home. And he just sat down and just drank and drank. It's like 2 in the morning, and Amanda's like, I'll go up and check on Archie. She never came back. And this dude was just sitting there talking.
Well, he lives here now.
Yeah. And
Yep.
I didn't know what to do. Like, how do you get him out of the house? I'm like,
I just usually give if someone stays that long, give them a blanket. And just
Yeah.
say, you know,
Yeah.
crash here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
I-
can sleep here if
The
you want
breakfast is pretty
to.
good.
I called England, I called France, nothing happened. A couple years, America came in,
Yeah.
several hours later, Frank left the house. So,
Yeah.
Wow.
North Dakota jersey. Years ago, started a website called The Legal Curve, which is now a radio show in Winnipeg.
That's
That was
wonderful.
the original logo that got, now they're Canadian, so now they have like a dumb logo with, I don't know, rainbows in it probably. So there you
I
go.
can't imagine it being better than that.
Yeah, that's an Amanda creation.
That's really nice.
Yeah, which I think fits the milieu of Manitoba better.
Yeah.
There you go. Jersey rundown. It is nice to actually be in the basement. Usually it's just the kids. It smells better. Knee hockey area, sometimes spa.
That is true.
Yeah.
That's true. My son has been in a sauna.
Yeah,
Yeah.
around the court. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can actually
Oh,
put it like-
good. I really had no idea where that one was
Yeah,
going.
yeah.
Yeah.
My son has been in a spa in your basement.
Nope. He enjoys the sauna.
Call the
He
FBI.
left a 10-star review. Yeah,
Nice.
he was wood sauna again
Yeah.
down here.
The concern I have is they all go. I was gonna say tarps off, but tarps and
Undies.
tarps
Yep.
and yeah.
I
so
asked
there's
you
a lot of
about that. I
little
said that
butts
was
on
a
that.
unique choice. I
Yeah.
said, you can keep your undies on.
Yeah.
Nobody's saying you can't. And he was like, well, it's a sauna. I'm like,
Yeah,
carry
fair point.
on, carry on.
It is a one-person sauna, which I
Yeah.
think is helpful. But the question becomes, so if anyone's out, this is probably a good time to do a live show. If anyone has any tips on how to clean a camp chair
Yeah.
of, a lot of butts.
Yeah.
I
A
don't-
lot of butts.
Pressure washer and car soap.
I guess that would work. Yeah.
Bleach and a
Yeah.
pressure washer or a garbage can. That's how you clean it.
Yeah.
You throw it away.
Whatever they used to clean the rinks during COVID, that's green spray
Oh.
stuff.
Which I assume was just water in a bottle.
Yeah.
Nobody was doing anything. Right?
This kills everything.
Actually, it was the leftover
Trust us.
beer from St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, right?
It smells the same.
It's funny you brought
Nothing
that.
can live through that.
I was at a baseball meeting the other day in Fargo, Corey, sorry. And the guys were laughing about during COVID when they had the umps behind the pitcher.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that would be better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
And same with like spraying down the benches and
Yep.
Which is funny, fast forward to this season, you guys were at the game, playing the game in Eden Prairie. Refs decided like 90 seconds left on the warm-up. You boys need mouth guards. And so
Oh.
Matt scrambled to get the mouth guards. Of course, they didn't fit. Kids were spitting. They'd come off. They'd spit the mouth guard into my hand. I cut it. They put it back in their mouth. They go for a shift. They'd spit it back in my mouth. I cut some more off. So, yeah.
That's a whole thing
Lovely.
now, though, that they're getting the mouth guards are becoming an issue again. They all but disappeared. I don't think I've ever purchased my children a mouth guard. And now, like, you look at the change on USA hockey rules, mouth guards is one of the main issues that they talk about.
Really?
Yep, that first warning on the mouth guard and then second, and that's another. I'm glad you said that because I'm gonna have to run into Hockey World because for the national tournament, they warned they are not going to take any excuses on mouth guards. So Jet has never worn one before, but he'll be wearing one this week.
Yeah. And I found the best thing to do with the off the rack ones, if you go that route, cut all the back off and just have the front showing because you can't breathe. They're awful.
Right.
Which child was it that Matt and another dad, Gunnar Nicola, wasn't it? That they formed it over his braces and almost had to take him to the
I'm
emergency
sure, yeah,
room.
where they pushed it in.
Oh,
Yep.
sure.
Yep, where they were forming it, they boiled it and formed it to his mouth, and then it formed right over his braces, and Gunner being Gunner laughed, but I'm like, this is a horrifying
Yeah.
story, and I thought for sure it was going to be an ER visit. They got it off. But yeah, so beware that's buyer beware. If your child has braces, don't boil the mouth guard. Don't do it.
Yeah, it's my recollection of the couple times I had to do it is not a great experience all the same.
Yeah.
The biting into the.
Mm-mm.
I had at one time a very expensive one from a dentist that I wore twice and threw in the bottom of my hockey bag. It's probably still there.
It makes me wonder though, because so I've heard different theories on mouth guards, and some say like it is for teeth protection, but then others made the claim that it's for if you get hit for seizing, like holding the tongue in the right position. I still have never gotten an answer on that. This could just be all rumor.
No, I think so. I've heard very similar to stops like the sudden jaw together, which is apparently a major cause of concussion.
Yes. So I don't know. I just I feel like mouth guards are kind of like outdated. I if they tell me my kid has to have one, I will buy one. But you don't see players use them anymore.
No.
Half the time they are stuck in their cage, even if they have them. Like
or
they're
chewing
not.
on-
They're not in their mouth.
Yeah, mostly window dressing, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why the sudden resurgence. Like maybe I have to read a study as to what they have determined the benefit of a mouth guard is. So
Obviously the locker room monitors have stopped any stuff going on. So we moved on. We're gonna look after.
that solved all the
Yeah.
problems. Yeah.
I think I might have told you guys privately, but when I did my coaching certification this year with a group out east, a lady came on at the end and did the safe sport talk, and she's a coach of she's a women's coach, like a 19U. And the conversation, she got her little piece out, and the conversation devolved a little bit into like, stuff you like about coaching. And hers was she just really likes sitting in the locker room after just to get the vibe of the girls. I'm like, I'd like to drop a dime on you because this does not sound.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Your favorite part of this is hanging out in the locker room after?
Yeah.
Is this before the shower?
I don't know, but
Adjacent
again,
to-
Sounds like a safe sport violation.
Yeah, it's
Sounds
like a
distinctly.
19U coach, which is, you know what I mean? Old, yeah, so it's
Hey,
not a lot of stuff that adds up there.
We don't say that.
Yeah. And so
Oh no.
it was a bunch of dudes, and everyone sort of had the same look on their face. Like,
Wait, what?
oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
Wrong answer.
yeah, I don't think that was a great one.
You know when we said there's no wrong answers here?
Yeah.
That was a wrong
Yeah.
answer.
So it was a good group. Interesting to talk to guys from a different part of the country. One the instructor said, like, hey, if I'm gonna ask questions, the quicker you answer, the quicker you get out of here, right? So I was like, okay, every time, boom, here's my
Sounds like a
boom,
trap.
here's my answer.
Abacadabra.
Yeah, let's let it move in. And one guy, so it was like a Zoom call, I think, or similar. And the one dude's like, hey, that drill sounds awesome. Here's my email. Can you send it to me after? I'm like, or contact me and long story short, nothing. Guys ghosted me for months. You know what I mean?
That's nice.
Didn't really want that drill. So team probably sucks now.
Yeah. Feels like that was a lie.
Yeah, like
Or they lost in overtime in a really big game where that really would benefit that team.
probably, yeah. Yeah,
Makes a
funny,
difference.
funny type of deal to got my hopes up and nothing.
Yeah.
You know?
Real jerk move.
Yeah, and in addition to the frightening lady from wherever the hell she was from, it was I guess I got my certification out of it, but past that, not a lot of additional benefits.
At
Feels
what
like she would
cost?
come from like Upper Hoboken.
No, farther north. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I wanted to say like New Hampshire or Vermont.
Oh.
I didn't want to throw those fine states under the bus, but
Yeah.
that's
But that sounds
that sticks in my mind.
Yeah.
That, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
You hit
there's
that
that.
brook in town?
Yeah. What was the one from Mr. Deeds? Anybody remember?
Ooh.
Can anybody pull that out?
God, I haven't seen that movie in a minute.
Nope.
But what was the gal?
It's Winona Ryder, and she's from
Yeah. I have to look it up.
like North Haverbrook, but that's a Simpsons one.
Yeah.
It's like
Same with Brockton Town.
That's a great movie.
like Winter Hamptonville or something like that. So
Winter.
it was long, a lot of syllables, more syllables than I am comfortable with. I'll tell you that much.
Well, obviously, we've
established.
heard how you say garage.
Yeah.
Well,
Too many, Kelly.
that's
Um,
hey, I'm an American.
Garage.
Yeah,
Garage.
Garage.
right,
Even
yeah.
the English go garage, you know.
Like they
that.
want to say carriage, but they're too drunk.
Yeah, garage.
That tracks. What a dumb country.
Stupid idiots.
Yeah, I will say though, I saw their prime minister, just to go way off track for a second, I saw the prime minister have a serious tweet, or what do you call it now? Still a tweet?
Who's their current prime
Keir
minister?
Starmer?
Okay, I'm still hung up on the blonde. What was his name?
Madonna?
No. Boris
Johnson?
Yes.
Oh yeah, he's
I miss him.
Yeah, that hair's nuts.
Yeah, he was doing it.
So anyways, Keir Starmer, who looks like a wax figurine, a startled wax figurine, had a very serious tweet the other day that we've now banned ninja swords in England, and I don't know that was an issue,
God.
right?
So here's the question. There's no such thing as a ninja sword. Now there are different types of swords.
We're just gonna go down that road, Kelly.
Yeah, let's do it.
Suddenly this podcast is about things.
Let's
Like,
fucking deep
yeah,
dive,
yeah.
right?
Are we talking about a katana? Are we talking about a shotgun? What
Yeah.
are we talking here?
Yeah.
Did you have them on your wall in college?
I did not.
Okay, I just wanted to clear that up.
Just so we're
I
clear.
was a poor, simple boy in college.
Okay.
Didn't lead with I collect swords.
Yeah.
Oh.
It really brought in all the chicks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
I also had 17 throwing stars, none of which were not paper.
As a kid, I used to make my own throwing stars.
Nice.
Yeah. If you get a bottle cap,
Yep.
and a hammer, pound it flat, get a tin snip,
Mhm.
cut it out, and throw it. That thing will stick and stuff.
dangerous.
Yeah.
And you complain about me bringing the podcast down.
Well, that's a how-to. Yours was. I'm not sure where you're going with that. You know.
So you're just gonna live read the anarchist cookbook, or what are we doing here?
I'm
You're in a basement.
Yeah, I'm in a basement. I got a weird little microphone, like I'm the white Bin Laden right now. You know what I mean? I could use an AK behind me, but I don't have one.
Can you grab one of your children and ask the machete, please?
Go get my
I have a machete.
This white back thing
Yeah.
is really scaring me.
Makes me think of Step Brothers when he takes the sword out. You see that signature right there? Randy Jackson from American Idol.
So right now I'm really second guessing where I got in this basement, but Kelly is obviously the closest to an exit.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, and plus
anytime I want.
there's a really good chance you trip over the microphone cord. And, you know what I mean? And then you're
Super
done,
good.
right? Yeah. Then you're just you were the red uniform on Star Trek after that point. You're
I wonder if knowing I'm gonna die, I just stay here and just take it like
Just take
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
What were we talking about, Kyle?
For all of us, Corey.
We transitioned from funny German names
Mhm.
Yep.
to safe sport.
Yes.
A little bit of COVID in between.
Yep.
Yeah.
To the British Prime Minister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To how Corey's gonna die.
Nice.
Very
I like it. Very straight. Very
like an episode in season 1, we're calling it eclectic.
yes.
Just to transition back to the East Coast a little bit, one thing I had seen a couple weeks ago and I wanted to bring up and get your thoughts on, a lot of hockey associations on the East Coast do spring tryouts. So season ends, kids go right into tryouts, which I think is tough, first of all, like especially, say squirt, pee wee, even into Bantam, so much happens over the summer.
Yes.
It's you know what I mean? Like you don't know what happens in April is going to look a lot different on the ice in September and October, most likely puberty or whatever.
I think that same thing even though for Team North Dakota with our boys trying out, I mean, especially this summer, I think it's going to be a huge growth summer for a lot of these boys. So they might be a totally different person by the time a fella who claimed he was Reed Nelson got in my car the other day, but I didn't know him.
Right?
I didn't know that voice. I told his mom, I'm like, I hated that experience. That sweet little angel got in and like man voiced me, and I'm like, get out. Get out.
I'm glad our kids don't know how to actually use a phone or voicemail or anything like that, because Archie's voicemail is when he's about 10.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, I'm like, if you delete that, I'm gonna lose my mind.
Same with Cams.
yeah.
Cams is
Just
still
so we can revisit that
prepubescent voice.
Yeah.
sweet little
Yeah.
voice.
And I remember that because I'm like, hey, you got to learn how to use a phone. You gotta have a voicemail. I wrote it out for him and watched him record his voicemail. So anyways, long story short, East Coast, there is, and I forget the particulars of it, but there is a moratorium on tryouts or open skates or pre-tryout whatever it is. You can't do X and Y in this period of time. So I guess the workaround now is what they're calling, or what they're referring to as birthday party skates, where little Johnny's got a birthday. He invites everyone who thinks is going to be on the big birthday. Yeah. So they have a skate and all the dads come and,
Born in December?
yeah,
No.
come to a birthday with clipboards and get things figured out.
Yeah.
So, genius workaround.
Yep.
Doesn't sound like a fun birthday.
Sounds like a hockey parent thing, though.
Yes, yeah. It's not a
yep.
pool party where the babysitter shows up, just
Yep.
for reference. But
Exactly.
If you make the team, do they hand you a gift bag on your way out the door?
Yeah,
kind
I
of
guess
thing?
so. I guess that's the goodie bag.
Yeah.
I think it's for the ease of the programs too, because then you get an actual solid idea for how many kids you're gonna have. But like you say, there is the problem of that at our kids' age, 2 months can be a big difference. It really, really can. So it's kind of hard. But
Yeah. And that was a segue I wanted to talk about is our kids this weekend are 12 or I guess mostly 13 now, but roughly 2011 born, played in a tournament against 2010s, and that is a big, I did not realize the gap there.
The boys playing the men?
Yeah.
Yep.
It is a significant leap up in size, speed, mustache,
Yes.
you name it.
It is the reason that testosterone is what it is, and there's no replacement.
Yeah.
If you are producing it more heavily, you can just do better. Like it's there's no getting around it. I was even talking about like working out pre-puberty, post-puberty.
Yeah.
You can get in better shape, but there's a ceiling pre-puberty as to how strong you're going to get.
Yeah.
You're still working with little baby arms, it's
Good rescue, Kelly.
yeah well no, I'm just listen,
The second time I've been led in a weird place in this basement.
no, I'm just picturing them like trying to like lift weights, and I'm like, oh no. No, that looks abnormal. Stop it. Just wait till you go through puberty. It'll be fine.
No, I was led to believe there was actually 2009s playing.
There were several
Yeah.
2009s.
Okay.
Whatever. It's,
No, I just meant I thought it was an allowed thing for that. Or maybe not.
I don't think so. The Ross or the tournament rules said you could have in tournament roster additions if you needed them, because kids, it's a busy weekend, kids are doing other stuff.
Right, to make it happen.
But it was advertised, as far as I know, it was a 2010 tournament. So again,
I just want to put that in a frame of reference. I thought someone had led me to believe it was a 29 tournament. So they were allowed. So it was allowed, so there might have been more of them. So my older boy is 3 months away from being a 2009.
Yeah.
So that would have been like putting my oldest boy in that tournament.
Can you imagine?
That's crazy.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And again, a lot of our kids are 2012, but half our team is 2012s and playing with 2000, and that's a huge gap, right?
And that's the same as I have a 2010. It would be like Mace's junior Sioux team playing our Pee Wee AA team. It's the same thing.
Yep.
And they would shellac them. Like it would be like a hot knife through butter, like it, but it's the same thing. It's a 3-year difference,
And it's, I thought it was a really good illustration of, the difference between, a pretty skilled group of kids playing kids that might not have a very similar skill set, but have the size and strength and speed. And it there's no getting around it, right? So it goes back to that, size versus skill debate too. And I think that's a lot to be said there, because I think really almost everything has to go right on the skill side to overcome the size and speed.
I don't know in that particular split if you could even make the argument. I mean, like you can have skill, but if you're going to get tossed the second you go for some, if you're going to be physically taken off your feet, you can be Dangle City and it may not serve you. It's just the truth. My kid, that's his game is dangles, but he is small and he will get taken off the puck. He'll get there. And we talk about it constantly. There's a constant anxiety in my house. When am I going to go into puberty? I'm like, I don't know. But no, you are right. That kind of settled that argument this weekend. But I am proud of them because they played. If you watch the game again, it wasn't probably like it was going to go any other way. But they gave them a good game. That's what I was proud of them for. Because, I mean, and I made the comment even that I think that the older boys didn't take much away from that game, but our kids took a lot away from that game.
Yeah.
They fit, you have to have, you cannot, I preach this with both my boys, is I get it. It's fun to win and it's fun to play teams you can beat. But if you want to know what you need to be better at, you have to play people that are better than you. You have to.
Yeah.
Or you'll never get better.
No learning experience there too.
Yep.
And just on the agency side, we always tell our kids that too. Like if you're doing summer skates, do not go to a skate where you're the best kid there.
Yep, because you will get lazy.
Yeah.
Because you then think you have nothing to work on.
Yeah, I think you said it best, Kyle. The first game that we played was against a team of kids they didn't know.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
that was the best game they played all night. And it ended up being, I think, the team that won the tournament.
That not only won, but kind of apparently they won 8-4. And I heard from two of the dads that score flattered the losers.
Okay. So, and we only lost by what?
Well, okay.
It got
So
worse late.
yeah.
Right,
So
but
we went into the third period down 4-3 and ended up losing
7-4, 8-4.
Eight, I think I call it 8-4. I think wheels came off. They had a couple and long story short, the wheels came off. However, we took them down to the wire third period wise, and in 3 of the 4 games actually outshot the other teams.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
just and that's part of the difference in
That's
the
where
strength.
skill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if you can get there, it's just, but again, like I said, even my own kid watching him, shoot the puck is at his age level, good shot. Compared to a child 2 years older than him, not that strong.
In the Sunday game that well, our heads kicked in the first period, came back and I think Matt counted. We outshot him 21-7 over the last 2 periods, but couldn't score.
Yeah.
And their goalie played well.
He played well.
Really, he was super dialed in.
One of our kids went down the wing, shot, and I saw that all season. He probably scored that goal 10 times.
Yeah.
And he thought he had it, but now the goalie's 6-2.
Yeah.
So other than shooting it by him, there's not much you can do there.
No.
There's something to be said too about, again, this was a previous conversation Kyle and I had. In the next 2 games, unlike the first game, the kids knew the kids' best players on the other teams.
Yeah.
And they knew these kids could be physical and they were going to bring it, and they deferred. It was a lot of, I'm not sure about this situation.
Yeah.
And they pull back, whereas, that kid does this. Well, this kid is an enforcer on that team.
Yeah.
That's one of the worst things. And not that I think that this didn't exist before, like social media and all of those things existed, but it's a frustrating thing that our boys, they come out with, they haven't even played a team. Well, that kid's this good. He played on this team. He's actually for this. He's this. So like their rumor mill gets more intense, and so the psych out before they've even attempted it, like you said, it was probably better to play people that they didn't know.
100%.
Because these boys that are older than them that they do know, that have always been the older players, that was a huge mental block, like.
And that team, I think, was actually there's kids they played with on that team.
Yep.
And kids they have tried out with at skate in the summer.
Yep.
And so on paper, that was the closest gap, and that was our worst game, just because they knew who they were.
Yep. And so I think too, it's then you get that social anxiety in it.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, if I do this, is this kid gonna hold it against me when I see him later? Or if we make a team next year together, like it's the social anxiety.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And going back to the Corey, your point about the first team we played where they didn't know him, I think 2 or 3 of those kids were already playing varsity high school hockey just by from smaller towns or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So I mean they have played a pretty legit schedule this year.
Yes.
Versus Pee Wee, and they did better against, just because they're just a random dude, like an NPC out there,
Yeah. But it's it's something to be said too about like how watching your kids play kids their same age versus older, just that 12 months when you are a grown-up feels like nothing, but 12 months from a 13-year-old to a 14-year-old is so far apart. It's such a big amount of time, like to see them. Like I was even saying that with the different tournaments that I got to watch this year, and watching these Bantam boys in their tournaments, and I'm like, oh my God, they were high-voiced little guys last year, and now they're like skating out here taller than their coaches with full facial hair.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
I'm like, that just happened.
So many shitty mustaches out there.
Yep. And
Inter-
when they get them, oh, you guys can probably speak to this because it's something that has perplexed me forever, and I have lots of nephews, is the male obsession with, I got this really horrendous mustache, like 6 hairs.
yeah,
I'm never getting rid of this.
yeah, yeah.
Does my lip look dirty
Yeah.
and does this look stupid? Yes. Am I shaving it? Not on your fucking life.
I was at the Western Michigan Mankato game yesterday, and my seat was like right beside the Western Michigan bench, and they all one dude had like a legit beard.
Yep.
The rest of them had the shitty mustaches. I'm like, you guys look awful. Come on. And a lot of them were wearing a bubble with it. I'm like,
Let's
"Oh,
let
just
this go.
let's go to a white cage.
Yeah.
Do something to distract from what you got going on there, dude.
Not a good look.
No,
It's
it's not.
not a good look. Yeah.
Not a good. Of course, I saw some of the chicks from Western, so maybe it's on purpose.
Maybe it's that. Maybe they like it. Yeah. I mean,
Uh,
it's that's maybe the problem is in middle school boys. Maybe the problem is middle school girls.
Hey, amen. They were right across the rink from me. There were 4 gals from Western, and they were selling like $7 White Claws, and
Oh,
the two Gopher dudes in front of me were going through White Claws like that. Tough look Gopher fans.
Yeah.
But the White Claw girls from Kalamazoo were doing that, which is fine. But they were holding up a Western Michigan flag the whole time, but it was upside down. This flag brought to you by $7 White Claws.
Yeah. Yes.
Amen, girls.
It's like a decent
Get it.
price for a
Get
white
it,
claw.
girls.
Even
I
though
had
you
a
never
ring-
want a white claw.
At a rink, it's
Yeah,
fine. Yeah,
$7.
it's not the worst.
It's not like 12 or 15 at this point.
Yeah,
when I was in Vegas this summer, one high noon was $14. One at the pool.
that's
You
high
know,
robbery.
Yep.
That's robbery.
Yep. One high noon. So that's more than a 4-pack of high noons at like the El Rocco for one
Yeah.
in a pool in Las Vegas.
Could we use this as a segue, Kelly, to give
Sure.
us a very, very impromptu, very on the spot review of the Kirkland brand
Oh,
mom? It's carbonated, so I can't call it mom water, but Kirkland
vodka and soda. It's very, very nice. And I don't doubt Kirkland just knocks it out of the park. Costco, if you're listening, anyone from Costco, please, Grand Forks, North Dakota, give us, we're being
Somewhere Beth Bach just got flush. All this nice.
bamboozled by Sam's Club. Not that Sam's isn't fine, but Costco just came in and was like, this sucks. Let's be better.
Yeah.
So no, I recommend it. Very, I'm a high noon person, and this is very high noon reminiscent.
Yeah.
So would drink again. It's very, very good.
No, I tried one, and the carbonation does not seem heavy.
No,
It's not like overpowering.
no, it's very, very. I would say it's more comparable to a high noon than it would be to a White Claw.
And I think it was something to the effect of, I don't know, $28 for a 24-pack. So we're talking,
Which is good.
it's economy of scale. That's good. You know what I mean?
Well, and because my beef that's actually really good because it's like, what is it, like $12 for a 4-pack of high noons at
Yeah.
like El Rocco. But I hate that any alcoholic beverage that they market to women is sold in like, who wants a 4-pack?
Right, yeah.
Like I can't, what 6 was out of the question, like it
I mean, coming from Riverside, that barely
Oh.
gets you to the south end.
Yeah, I know exactly. Like if I'm heading up to Maple Lake, I have to buy 3 4-packs, and I'm like, this sucks. Like,
Yeah.
how about a 12-pack? Like, and the problem is that you can get the variety packs, but I'm like, no, I don't want the variety pack. I want one specific flavor
Sure.
because that's going to be my hyperfixation right now. So, I'm really glad to hear that this is reasonable. And again, please, Costco, Grand Forks, all right?
Like, why not? You know?
We're an hour closer to Canada. You get the Canadians.
Do you
Your
want them?
mileage, your mileage varies, right?
Listen, they that's always my argument for everything though. When I want something good, like a better mall and stuff, I'm like, well, the Canadians would prefer to stop here instead of go all the way to Fargo, but I can't blame them for just going to Fargo. So they have
Yeah.
their uses.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure Kirkland does like Kirkland brand frosted tip kits and
That's
Kirkland brand bedazzled jeans for men and
You-
whatever other garbage they wear, you know?
You know, they say in North Dakota the cold keeps the riffraff out. What are we gonna do about the Canadians?
Do you know what's a weird thing? And Kyle might be able to shed some light on this, and it has been a mystery for me for years. So I worked at Target for a brief time when I was in college. It was a fine job, but Canadians would come through, and there were two things that they bought in bulk amounts, and I never got an answer. Number one, no, cheese.
Oh,
Number one.
I got an answer for that.
Number two, Bush's baked beans. They bought those to a level that was concerning. And that one I did get an answer, and it's they don't exist in Canada.
Yeah.
But yet Canadians love Bush's baked beans. So that was the two things that if you had a heavy amount, I didn't even have to look at their form of payment to know these are Canadians I'm checking out right now.
Yeah.
You can't make meth out of Bush's baked beans.
Maybe.
I know there's a hot and cold cook method, but I don't think there's any beans.
We don't. I've never made it. I have watched Breaking Bad though, and I didn't see that.
Yeah, I missed that as
well. So why the cheese?
So the cheese, there is essentially a dairy cartel I'm not kidding, in Canada.
The story got better immediately.
What is referred to as Lower Canada or the Laurentian corridor, Southern Ontario through to Montreal, is where a lot of the dairy farmers are located.
Okay.
So they have artificial caps on dairy production to keep
drive
prices up for those farmers.
Yep.
Because they're reliable big L Liberal voters.
Okay.
To wit, there was a story the other day of a Ontario farmer who had to dump 30,000 gallons of milk because he was over his. You get a set capacity. That's all you can produce. He had to dump it, and what a huge waste. When food bank usage is at an all-time high in Canada, like, oh no, kids, you don't need this milk. I'm going to dump it down the drain to keep these jackasses happy.
Yeah, keep these prices high.
So without devolving into the politics of it, a lot of complaints about these tariffs. It happens internally in Canada, so maybe they should check yourself, as they say.
Because I'm not kidding, like copious amounts of cheese.
It is.
Yes.
Even with the exchange, a score.
Yeah.
Cheaper, like in the little town where I'm from in Canada, again, small town, so you're paying like inflated prices anyways, but like a half gallon of milk, 2 liters.
Yep.
It's like $9.
Okay. Yeah.
So like 4 bowls of cereal, punitive.
Yep. Cheese and Bush's baked beans. I always remembered it. And like I said, I did get the guts one time to ask on the Bush's baked beans, and they're like, oh, it's real simple. We don't have it up in Canada. These are fantastic.
Can I ask why Canadians have the same accent as your oldest son?
It's like South Park when they make them all, like featureless. I don't know why, it just works. It makes sense.
He'll grow out of it when he's we fine.
Feels a little
like seen the Canadians on South Park, and we're all like, yeah.
Feels a little unfair to your boy, but I get it.
He's gonna come out of puberty with a cut off shirt with the eagle on it, and just the biggest Fu Manchu and mullet you've ever seen.
Yep.
It's gonna be glorious.
I'm hurting him, but it's all right.
So you'd be fine.
I want him to be funny. You can't be a funny person if you don't have trauma. That's a fact.
For real. I think that's actually, yeah.
Yeah. I want him to be funny. You're welcome.
Written down somewhere.
Yeah. It's a lot.
Yeah, I can get behind that too.
I can't. It's interesting you thought pop, because I will say Coca-Cola in Canada, vastly superior to Coca-Cola in the US.
Yeah.
Vastly superior. It's so much better.
Do you know, we talked about this before. You know what's worse in Canada? The A&W root beer clubs.
Oh, God
they
damn
put
it.
a hockey puck of ice cream into them. They don't actually put soft serve into it. It's a frozen, preformed frozen hockey puck.
Canadian A&W is an abomination from start to finish.
That's funny because I like Canadian A&W better.
Oh, an abomination. All right. I one time went in there thinking like A&W, cool. I walked outraged. Outraged. I couldn't.
It smelled good in there. And very a scent of grease in that restaurant.
Yeah.
If it doesn't smell like grease, it's not an
It's not good.
Huh.
Yeah.
So we have a mutual friend. I guess all of us. I didn't know her well at the time, but when our kids were little, like 6 maybe, we played like just a one-off friendly game in Winkler. Cassie didn't know her well. Said, hey, we're going to gets up at A&W, you want to join us, same deal. It's like
Yep.
she got whatever it was. Yeah, but they do have teen burgers, which is helpful.
What burger?
Teen burgers, it's called a teen burger. A mama, a papa, a teen, baby.
Okay.
They have a
What
teen
they
burger.
call Mama and Papa burgers are not that Mama and Papa burgers, and that's where my outrage came in. I'm like, this is filth. What is this?
Teen burger's so good. In any event, same deal. She had a bite of whatever she had, and she goes, I don't like this.
I hate this.
Yeah, so maybe Cassie should come on and talk about A&W.
She probably should. At some point, you have to make sure you're taking care of all angles. Know that their food and their restaurants are trash. And they make their McDonald's drive-throughs way too small.
Yeah, so that's another thing that has long bothered me about Canada. You've been there.
Mhm.
There's nothing but room, and they pack everything in.
Yes.
What's the point? You know,
Like a Russian Tiananmen Square.
Minsky Square.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
I wonder if I made that game in Winkler. I think that was when we got violently ill
This
with
this
the
was actually the
plague.
year before.
Okay.
Uh,
So Jet maybe wasn't even there yet.
It was just a random. I think there is a photo that exists because I don't remember all the kids. I had through the agency I had a kid that was playing in Winkler.
Yeah.
And their billet family had a 2011
Yeah.
and said, hey, we got this little team. There's no teams, and so player came into the hockey academy. He was just chatting about this guy. He's like, hey, do you know how old's your kid? Would you bring a team? I'm like, sure. So I know Archie went.
Pick up team.
Hazel, Jackson Fabian, and Capes.
Oh,
The
it would have
eighth
been
grader.
his older boys. Yeah. Colin or Ryland.
Cullen.
Yep.
That's the only four I remember.
Yeah.
But I know we had a full team, or no, we had 9 kids.
Okay.
And so we went there, played half ice, because they wanted to play full ice. And we're like,
Whoa.
I can't play the game yet.
We are unprepared.
No, thank you.
So we played a half. Actually, I think we compromised at half or 3/4, which was still bad. Our kids were like, "What are we doing?" And then we had a skills competition,
Oh
and it
Lord.
was awful. Our kids just got
Small.
like poor. Actually, I feel bad. I think that might have been responsible for that poor little Capes kid not wanting to play goaltender anymore.
Yeah.
Because these kids were playing as a team. They had tracksuits, and we're like, "What? But this is supposed to be for fun. We didn't even have uniforms. We're just like, we're white." And so we had a mismatch of. So if anyone remembers, I might have to ask some of our
I remember Cassie talking about it. She said, hey, we're going to do this weekend. And I said, you guys enjoy.
Wow.
So I can't.
I don't want to, but I sure hope you
I
have
can't
fun.
tell you who was there. Oh, you know what? Who else might have been there is Colt Kwame.
Okay.
Oh,
Because
Corn bomb.
Archie and Cullen and Colt were on that same
Sure.
termite
Yeah.
team,
yep.
and Hazel.
Okay.
It was like half of
That
our
was, yeah.
termite team plus whoever else came.
I was just thinking, I went back to, where, was it Winkler?
It was Winkler when,
Caught the plague?
yeah, we had before we knew anybody. We went to all these kids jumped in the pool. Someone ended up throwing up and all
Threw
the
up
parents
down
were-
the water slide.
Yeah.
Which kid was at the bottom of the water slide? Jet Moreland.
yeah,
Yeah.
just kind of leaning against the wall.
Yep. Yeah. That
That
was.
was a very tight space for not being allowed to drink in a pool.
And also, there's very clearly a lack of fire code in Winnipeg because the amount of children and adults in that pool area was concerning to say the least. But like everybody was okay with it. So until the vomit went down the slide and then everything went bad.
Yeah.
So, but before that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I remember that hotel because the kids, the one close game they had, which was like an 8-4 loss or something like
Yes.
that. It was against a team from Saskatchewan called the Razorbacks.
Okay.
And
Yes,
I remember
7.
them. They were 7 walking the halls saying, "We're gonna fight these kids." I'm like,
Yeah.
"What the hell are you guys gonna do?"
Yep, they're gonna fight the Razorbacks. Didn't they have like camouflage jerseys? One of them had like
yeah.
camo style jerseys.
I thought they had like a slash, like a claw slash.
Maybe
back.
that was them.
There was both, but I actually have all those games on tape.
Oh, do
you
you?
for
Oh,
real?
that'd be awesome to watch
recently
those.
been moving stuff from one external hard drive to another.
Yeah.
And I came across, it's not the whole game, but I think I taped like most of Parker's shifts, but they were rotating back then, so you get to see pretty much everybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just as bad as you remember it.
Now, just Parker ships. Did you clip these? Do you have running commentary? Do you have like
No, there was no talking
telestrator
at all
stuff?
back then. It was just filming for the sake of filming, and
Hell yeah.
whew.
So it's Archie's first games as goalie, so I think my eyes were closed half the time.
But that's the craziest thing, I think, with being a youth hockey parent is at that time, you watch it and it feels fast and big and important. And then your kids get older and you watch that same age group and you're like, did my kid move this slow?
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
And vice versa. When
Yeah.
the first kid goes through and you watch, let's just say the Bantam AA team.
Yep.
At least for me, not growing up in hockey, I saw these Bantam AA's play, and I'm like, there's never going to be a time when my kids can move that fast.
Yeah.
Like, it just isn't possible. And then they get older and they get faster and whatever.
Yeah, I know. It's great. It's just that phase of being a hockey parent where as you're in it, you're realizing the changes. But I agree. You watch it when they're older and you're like, oh God, this is so fast. But now I feel the same way, like you watch a high school game and you're like, oh, this is significantly faster. And then you go and watch a college game, you're like, this is significantly faster. Yeah. Like just every level feels like it's the fastest. And then you watch another and you're like, oh no, not even a little bit.
The college game I watched yesterday too. I've just been watching a lot of Pee Wee obviously lately too, and there's just no time, no space, no like nothing. Nothing. You know?
It even makes me like we were obviously college hockey is on in everybody's house right now. But just even watching, like, I'll think to myself how much harder it is to score a goal. Like just as simple a part of a game as that is, just to be able to score a goal is the level of difficulty. And especially as the game changes and becomes so much more skilled, goalies become better, players become better, training becomes better. Like when someone does pound a goal home, you would just appreciate more, like that takes a lot, like it's not easily achieved.
The difference in the Gophers and UMass played after kind of more skilled teams than Western and Mankato are a little more blue collar. Difference in those games is fun too because it pains me to say it, but like the Gophers team is so skilled. Some of the stuff they can do at speed is really impressive.
Yeah.
But then the Mankato Western game, like it's a heavy game. Like everyone's getting hit or lined up, and the block shots and all these things. Like it was both games were impressive to watch for their own reasons.
Yeah. But even to think about like the training difference now, like players 30 years ago, if you would have talked to them and shown them the type of training methods that they do with these players, they would have been like, yeah, we didn't do that.
We drank beer and smoked cigars. I mean, that's training.
I was drunk during that game,
like right up to labor.
Yeah. So I mean, it just when I watch these kids, I think to myself, like their level of pressure is even higher than what people 30 years ago experienced. And I even said to my husband the one time we were watching, and I said, with all of the new things with the transfer portal and everything, I said the tremendous anxiety on these kids. Making a mistake must feel intensely huge, more so than it ever used to be, where like you might have some time to correct. I feel like kids now, it's like this expectation of I cannot make a mistake or my spot will be gone. And it really kind of breaks my heart because I'm just like, man, what these kids, I respect that they take that on because it's a level of anxiety that it's new. It didn't used to exist and it gets worse all the time. And it's more than I think most adults could cope with, So I just respect like that mental part of the game is bigger than anybody could ever even imagine. I mean, like, even if you were to compare to your own job to be like, hey, we're going to film everything you do. We're going to dissect it. And the second you do something stupid, we're going to see if there's somebody that'll come in and just maybe not do something so stupid. It's scary.
It is. I think that's taken away from the college game a little bit too, where it was somewhat static. Come in, you kind of work yourself into the lineup, and now, and it goes both ways. I think it's. I'm happy the kids have, some license and some agency to move, but also it comes at a cost of like, not only for the kids where like, oh, coach doesn't like me, I'm gonna leave. Like no
Yep.
one wants to correct anything. And then you hear a lot of stuff about coaches too, like if they make a recruiting mistake, they're like, should go on the portal, everyone will love you. And it's just like it's just like get lost.
Yeah.
They know no one's gonna grab them,
I
right?
just
Like,
can't imagine that these kids can withstand that. That is pressure. That is intense. But I think like when we had Gino Gasparini on, even he talked about that, where he was like, he doesn't like that part of where the game's going because, like he said, it puts no requirement on players to stick out a situation they don't love and see if they can make it better.
yeah,
And it doesn't put a requirement on coaches to develop players because they can go, you're replaceable.
Yeah.
So it's changing things in a way that like change is natural and it has to happen. And I get that. But it's also there's kind of a sadness to it because I'm like, gosh, what you're losing is not good either though.
Yeah. And
I don't know if I agree with that. Kyle and I are two white middle-aged men. Change both frightens and confuses us.
for yourself, sniff.
God, do I love it.
Yeah.
Just love the change all the time.
So just to that point though, that there used to be the the proponents of collegiate sports or amateur sports are like, well, it's a little more genteel and whatever. You come in for your 4 or 5 years and it sticks this way. It's not like the crassness of professional sports where everybody's getting paid and they're mercenaries. But you signed a rookie deal in the NHL, it's 3 years, you're locked in there, right? You're a restricted free agent till you're 27 essentially. So like the NHL has more stability now than college or professional hockey, I should say.
Right.
Um,
Still high pressure.
High pressure.
But with some
But
stability.
it's like okay, you signed that. Well, we'll call it 3 years for sake of argument, depending on when you sign. But we'll call it 3 years. Okay, I'm going to be a Blackhawk for 3 years, or I'm going to be a Penguin for 3 years.
Yep.
But like now it's not uncommon. Like, geez, there's a kid from East Side that I think played on, and not all his fault, but I think he played on 3 different college teams in 5 years, right? So like that's not. I don't personally think it's good. Hey, like I got to go to a new school.
Yep.
New classes, new professors, new teammates, new coaches.
Right. Whereas before, I mean, when you came in as a freshman, barring leaving early, you could rightfully expect that you were going to play it as a senior, at that same school. And now that's it's not that it doesn't still happen, but depending on the school that you go to as well, because I think there are some programs that are less likely to do that, but change of coaching can change all of that.
Yeah, and I get that. Yeah, if a coach leaves, you're like, okay, I'm going to transfer because the coach left. He recruited me. I like playing for him.
Yep.
I got no truck with it, but it's just like, I'm not feeling the vibe. I'm going to leave, and then
there's good things that can come out of it. There are players, there are players who benefit from it. That if that hadn't been an option, they would have suffered for it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's being a mom, or mom. It's your heart goes out to like, God, that pressure of like, if I have one bad night, does everything that I've worked for since termites just go?
Well, to use that analogy too, like our kids have played together for a number of years, close to like a college career. Now you parachute a guy in, say this year, say a new family moved to town.
Yeah.
This kid's good, drop him in the middle. And now it just upsets the ecosystem a little bit too. We're like, this kid's better. I kind of took my spot now.
Yeah.
Right, like everything, it reorders it, and the same thing happens. I think in a lot of cases with the transfer portal, where they parachute a guy in. Hey, I've been, I'm a junior now. I've been working my ball. I did everything that's asked of me, and I thought, hey, like that's my spot to lose, and I just lost it to this dude that just just showed up one day.
Yeah, and so, team chemistry. Yeah, like that, a camaraderie, and then. Oh, here comes someone dropped in here, and now I don't know where I sit at all, and I don't know how this dynamic. I don't know. I just respect these kids because I don't know. I would crack. Now, granted, not the face of mental health here, but I'm just saying it's when you watch these kids playing at this level, you gotta. They have to have a pretty firm foundation or be able to fake it that they do, because it's an intense amount of pressure and my heart goes out.
I think you're not gonna unring the bell of NIL money. You're just
No.
not, right?
No.
And so
That's the other thing. That is a
Yeah.
hugely complicated issue.
being that you can't, I almost think they should have some level of system where if you accept money from a college to play there, you're locked in for a period of years. It should be like kind of signing a contract.
Yeah.
I like the contract idea
Yeah.
of like,
Once
just,
money comes in.
Yep.
Yep. That
If you
if,
accept cash, you're stuck here for, and maybe it's a tiered system. You take, I throw stupid numbers out, but $1 million, you're here for the whole thing, no
Yep.
matter what.
Yeah.
Coach moves,
Any-
tough luck. You took $1 million.
yep, to this level,
Yeah.
that's this many years,
Yeah.
this, and then over this amount, you're locked.
Right.
But it's so hard too, because I think that I was just talking about this with somebody the other day. It's such an imperfect system because you make the point of, yes, these universities make money off of these
Mhm.
kids, so why don't these kids get to see any of it? It makes sense. But you kill certain programs that cannot offer up the same amount of money.
Right.
And it just adds in something that, again, I think helps the game overall. I get it's a conversation worth having. It's part of it that you can't not address, even though for years they didn't. It was just the expectation that, well, it doesn't matter. This is your time. You're not getting paid for this. You can get a scholarship. That's it. But it muddies the waters again, where it's like, so what does this do to just college hockey in general?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Does it make it obsolete? Does it make, like what's the point,
and because there's a proliferation of youth hockey, there's different parts of the country. USA Hockey's pushing the Southwest, like Florida's booming, that whole corridor, or I guess you say the whole corridor from like Tennessee down to Florida. Florida's booming. Hey, great, there's more hockey. Now there's more junior hockey, and now college hockey is like,
Yes.
you gotta give the kids a place to go. You can't be like, okay, well, you can play your 20, 21 and then get benched, right? Like,
Yeah.
And I think club hockey's filling some of that void, which is becoming good.
Yeah.
D3 is becoming good, but D1's got to figure this shit out because there's such a big opportunity for the country to produce a lot of good hockey players, but they can't figure out the logistics, and that's slowing it down.
Yeah, it has changed everything in a way that I don't think, like I said, again, rewind 30 years, you could not have even predicted this. It just wasn't on the radar. It wasn't an issue. And now these are really big points. And even talking about like finding coaches, can you punish a coach because he just can't offer the same amount of money?
Yeah.
Like it's complicated.
Yeah.
It was kind of nice when those things didn't exist in college hockey.
Yeah, it was simpler time, as they say.
Yep.
I saw this the other day on Twitter too, and this is shifting gears a little bit to basketball, but all the Sweet 16 teams.
All right.
Well, I'm not going to talk about the actual game, but
Thank God.
for their starting five, where they started school and
Yeah.
where they are, like here. And it was a couple of them, like Duke and Purdue stick out, like four of the starting five were recruited by the team and played through.
Yeah.
But a lot of them were like five different teams, different. It's like, holy cow, guys! Like that's, again, they got what they wanted. I mean, there's a pretty big financial benefit there, but I also think, hey, there's a kid sitting maybe at home that like got recruited to Ole Miss or wherever it was. Hey, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Now you watch. Not to say that I'm watching that team in the tournament. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
So it's just to your point about the cost of it, Kelly. Like we're not. I know there are a lot of proponents. There are a lot of big names on ESPN where like kids got to get the money, and I'm with you.
Well, in a school
but
like University of North Dakota, it just shoots you kind of out of the sky because you just aren't good. There's elements of North Dakota that you can't get around. We are just not as popular for many, but we've always had this incredible hockey program, and it's always shined. But now that you throw that money into it, it hurts our program.
It does, yeah.
So do we become, obviously not hockey, because it just won't happen, but does UND become a tier or a Division II team? Just because we can't be competitive in the NIL features.
You almost have to think about that too, right? Like how do you square it? Because very, very generous people, I think, in town. But again, there's a finite number of businesses that get, actually one of our friends talked about this the other day about the constant ask for donations to very worthwhile charities.
Right.
There's only so many businesses that you can't do it every week, where it's like over and over and over.
Yeah.
And the same thing applies. Now we got to support these college students.
Yep.
And the asks are bigger.
Yeah.
It's not like, hey, can you give us $50 for, I'd like to get, throw $50 towards the jerseys for our softball team.
Yep.
All right. But now it's like, we need 10 grand to keep this kid.
Yeah.
in town for another year.
That's,
Or
when you put it
maybe
that
or
way, it's
more.
like, ooh,
Yeah.
it's a big
ask.
ask. Yeah. And maybe not even sustainable, you know, like, because it's like, well, how can you commit to keep doing this?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. And then
it's a fair question.
yeah, but then and then even like philosophically as a business, like what are we paying for here? You know,
Right.
this kid stays here one more time, and he's gonna go sign. You know, he's gonna the
Right.
money's coming, and so like I've thought about this myself, where it's like I did a lot of work for free as an intern just to like get the experience. Like,
Yep.
I don't begrudge the kids the money.
No,
But, like,
exactly.
hey,
Because you can
I'm
make
working-
the argument that that was wrong as well.
Yeah.
But you can also make the argument of, well, that system exists for a reason. So it's, I agree. You could go back and forth all day on it because you can always counter with, like I said, I agree with the statement of, you know, okay, so then who is making this money? It's not these kids, you know, like it's a fair
Yeah.
point. But I feel like when you throw that element into it, everything that was good about it before, you just wrecked it, you know?
And it'll bring about, I think, what they, you know, like inefficiencies in the markets. Teams will figure out how to get around it, how to make it work, how to like run counter to what everybody else is doing. But now, like, you know, on the facility side, I see this a little more. But like now there's like private equity money coming in. Like we can make some money here because now the buildings are for profit. Like, well, we'll build this, you know, this football stadium, this baseball, this hockey, whatever it is. But we're gonna do a deal with Live Nation. We're pumping in 20 concerts now too, right?
Yeah, right.
And so now you're making money off the college again.
Yeah.
Right. And the college probably doesn't see.
No.
So again, like, you know, I teach that class at UND and I don't use a textbook. So I'm like, what am I gonna do? It's gonna, the second it goes on paper, like I was telling kids different stuff every week.
Yeah.
Right. And that's where we're at with college sports now.
No, it's the change is kind of crazy, and especially as like our boys get older and stuff, and God willing, you know, maybe one or two of them will play college hockey. And but just to see even where it's at that point, I'm like, oh God, it's rapidly changing. Right. You know, again, that's terrifying.
Well, by that time, who knows, right?
Yeah. I still have my Blockbuster card just for reference, and I'll never.
You might need it.
I'm not getting rid of it.
I've got mine outside.
It means a lot to me. I won't get rid of it.
If there's a guy in town that has a tattoo on his neck that says Alexandria, I would like my Blockbuster bowl back. I assume you're in the state pen.
Your Blockbuster what that?
Bowl.
I've heard this
Bowl.
story.
Yeah.
It was stolen.
I think, yeah.
How do you have a Blockbuster bowl?
They used to give out popcorn bowls.
Yeah, like hey, Friday night you
Did I miss out on this completely? Because I do not recall getting a Blockbuster bowl.
Yeah.
You were probably like studying, but Kyle and I
we're watching movies and thinking here.
watching movies. So
yeah. So Blockbuster bowls. This dude didn't have a phone, but he had a meth problem and a daughter. He would come to my apartment and borrow a landline to like arrange with the baby mama.
Yeah.
My mom came to visit, got me movies, gave me a bowl.
Okay.
I had Halloween candy on the table.
Okay.
And he knocked on my door. Hey, I got a date. Can I borrow your nice bowl? I'm like, what?
So he
You know
knew
what?
about this bowl.
Yeah, because he would come. I give him the phone.
Yeah,
I try and give him some privacy. I
Yeah.
let him sit at the table and use the phone.
Yeah.
I talked to Alexandria's mom.
Yeah.
Oh my
Wow.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's
That's
And now,
story.
20 years later, I'm still
and
here.
now
And you're very sour about that
Oh,
bowl.
I was looking back. He was a nice dude, but I like my bowl.
yeah, 100%. Again, you just can't get that back. I mean,
Yeah.
like
I want to call my wife right now and ask her, Jess, do you know about this Blockbuster bowl thing? Because this is going to be a big discussion when I get home.
Yeah.
How did I miss out on this?
I liked the competitive nature about it. Like if you didn't get there when the new releases came out, you may not get to watch the movie you wanted to watch.
Yeah.
Like you might leave empty-handed.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I liked that. Like now,
Stop watching Spaceballs for the 18th time.
Yeah.
yep. I
Yeah.
tried one time to rent a movie that Matt and his brother had told me was the worst movie they'd ever seen. It was called A Crack in the Floor. I still to this day have never seen it. So I was curious and I'm like, I'm gonna rent this. I brought it up to the guy at the counter and he goes, I can't let you rent this. And I'm like, no, I know it's terrible. And he's like, no, like I won't allow it. Please put it back and go get something different. So I never did see it, but I need to look this up.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll pay for it now, but Matt and Casey Moreland maintain it is the worst worst movie ever committed to film, and that intrigues me.
Yeah, one, I'm now Facebook friends with Casey Moreland. Came out of the blue. I was really pleased to get it.
Yep. Did
we
it say Mr. Hockey 2004
No, it
anywhere?
just said
in
Casey
there? Nah,
Moreland.
he wouldn't
We
do
haven't-
it, but I would.
We haven't exchanged it, but we're now Facebook official. And two, the worst movie ever made is called Dead Snow. It's a Norwegian zombie movie, where Nazi soldiers come back to life.
I have seen this movie, Kyle.
Yeah.
Now I have to.
We don't have to.
Well,
around law school.
I'm in.
Yeah,
Is that the
might have
time
been
frame?
around that time.
Yeah. As I recall correctly, there were a lot of topless Norwegian broads.
It was a weird movie.
Yeah.
My brother one time talked me into
Remember much of it.
watching a
That was
movie,
kicking and moving in.
and I don't know if you guys have seen it. I think it's based on a Stephen King novel, and it's
You
called
lost
The
me.
Langoliers.
Yeah.
And it's fucking terrible. And I want the 3 hours of my life back that I committed to that movie. The premise is good. Starts out so promising. These people are up in an airplane, and when they land, like nobody's there, like everybody's gone. And so they go back
That's an
up
episode.
in said airplane.
That sounds
So the
weird.
premise
You want us for a
is,
second?
yeah, it's so
Here, pull up the file. It's under-
like at the beginning you're like, oh yeah, this is going somewhere good, and then it just dissolves into like, hey, we don't know how to finish this movie, so if anybody has any ideas, we're gonna accept all of them. And then it just goes so fast to shit, and then you're so angry that you watched it. So I can't stress enough, if you like me are interested in horrendous movies, I recommend The Langoliers.
I don't know if I can trust you when you talk about old movies that were terrible and you're talking about a movie that was released in 2001.
This one, I
Very old.
look up this one because when my brother recommended, and I'm
I'm
like,
done with law school in 2001.
okay, sure. I gotta look this one up and see the release date.
The
'cause
crack in the wall one or no?
no, Crack in the Wall. Hold on,
All right, while you're looking that up.
or Crack in the Floor. Yeah, here,
I
you
got
got this.
I got a movie for you, which may be the worst comedy movie of all time, but I highly recommend
Okay.
watching it. It's called
Okay.
Mystery Men. Have you ever seen it?
Yes,
It is.
Ben Stiller's in that.
It is a
Yes.
horrible film. It is so bad that they actually gave me a free copy of that movie when I bought my first DVD player. Mystery Men. is the
Here,
name of the
just
film.
take it.
It's a Ben Stiller film.
Oh,
Paul
I've
Rubens
seen-
is in it.
Yep,
Oh,
and
you
it
haven't?
is absolutely positively horrible.
Macy. What the heck is his full name?
Lopez is in A Crack in the Floor, and so is Gary Busey. So maybe this guy at Blockbuster didn't have a freaking clue what he was talking
Maybe he
about.
promised it to somebody else.
AC Slater, I say less, my friend. Hold on, I gotta look up the Langoliers.
While you're still looking it up, so William H. Macy,
Okay,
Ben Stiller, Janine Garofalo, and a young who's the comedian with the super finger? Dane
Cook.
Dane Cook plays a
Oh,
bit
shit.
role in that
Yes.
film. He's a superhero known as the Waffler.
Garofalo.
And
Oh,
my kids will sing to you because I've made this joke for years. The Wafflers theme song.
the Waffler.
Waffle Man, I am the Waffler.
Yeah.
Golden crispy.
They're all
bad guys are in.
superheroes. Yeah, no, that's a great movie. 1995 was The Langoliers. And my brother still maintains it's a cinematic masterpiece. It's horrendous.
I'll never pass up an opportunity to tell a Saskatchewan story. Pre-cell phone, Facebook, what have you. There were two girls from about 30 miles away, sisters Veronica and something, Langolier, who achieved mythical proportions like as the hottest girls in Saskatchewan. And
Wow.
people always like, oh yeah, I went to a party. The Langolier girls were totally there.
Yeah.
And then one dude from my town had one as a grad, the big deal was to have a grad date, you know what I mean? Like to do the grand march or whatever.
Yep.
And this broad was there and
Mid,
mid.
mid, as the kids say. She was mid.
To wit, I think I have a yearbook upstairs with a black and white photo of Sean and one of the Langolier girls in it.
The Langolier. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
here a mini series was made.
Yeah,
based-
maybe it's about that.
Maybe Stephen King heard their name. I
Heard the
actually, I
myth?
shouldn't
Were they
even say.
twins?
I'm not
No, two
confident.
sisters.
Close in age though?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, because
Good.
Saskatchewan, they're probably like 10
I-
months apart.
I feel now exactly. I feel like you get a lot of the cheerleader problem there, right? Large groups of cheerleaders make them all look attractive when individually they're not. So
Yeah.
Twins are the same way.
Yeah.
Male or female.
I had
Yeah.
that in good segue to volleyball.
You're welcome.
Was that a
It is a Stephen King novel.
Yeah,
Okay, I
yeah,
just had to confirm that. But maybe Stephen King heard about those girls, and
He's-
that he was like Langolier.
Spends a lot of time in Saskatchewan.
I like that.
Him and Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Gotta sell your car somewhere.
He has family in Saskatchewan. He used to spend his summers there. Small world. We not cross paths as far as I know.
As far as I remember.
You do know the more Busch Lights you drink, the more syllables you're including in your words.
Trying to make everybody comfortable.
Okay.
That's the opposite effect.
Yeah.
Is that because you're planning to murder us in your basement? You're trying to make.
I'm thinking of cleanup.
I mean, I would have thought of it too, but there's definitely plastic and newspapers
Yeah,
over in that corner, Kyle.
Our really nice
Best
cleaning
answer.
lady / baker was just here. I don't have the heart to do that to my wife. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why you lay the paper down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got the rubber mats.
This is straight out of Lethal Weapon 3.
Yeah.
No, 2.
Seen
Two.
enough
Lethal Weapon
episodes
2.
of Dexter to know
Yeah.
how this goes.
Get the Tom Box charcuterie. I lost my train of thought on what story I was going to tell.
Yes. Lent a volleyball.
Volleyball. Recently in Florida, happened upon a college beach volleyball tournament.
Okay.
We stopped to watch. Tremendous athletes. Just some of the stuff they can, in sand is very impressive. But you think of beach volleyball, you're like, oh gosh, got to be a bunch of hot rods waiting in line for a drink as they walked off, and it's like, nope,
Not a
Nope.
one in sight.
nope, nope.
Water everywhere, but not a drop to drink.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. It was really like.
Did they light the volleyball patch at night with Subaru Foresters?
No, maybe not. It was that,
It draws everyone in.
Yeah, he did. That's weird you would say that.
yeah,
Crazy.
actually, I called our friend Sean to see if he was interested in building a super ship in Pocket Beach. He was not.
All right.
There you go. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I'm not sure how to describe it, but
Yeah, good
Yeah.
segue of not being able to know how to describe something.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd try one of these new non-alcoholic drinks
Yeah.
that are botanicals and adaptogens, whatever the hell that is.
adapt.
Yeah.
It sounds like a knockoff transformer to be
I don't
honest.
know. But I wanted to, as I've been sipping on this slowly, and there was a reason for
I'm
that.
gonna look up what adaptogens are.
It's called a spice pinurita. Well, I'm gonna pass it and let you just smell it. I don't recommend sipping it. Just as you smell it, tell me what you think that is.
This is also a lot like the Saskatchewan 8th grade baking party. Welcome. Hey, smell this.
I was sent an invite to the party.
Sorry, Kelly.
Tell me what you think. Do not,
is.
do not drink it.
Oh,
I don't care for the smell.
Yeah, it tastes like
it smells like beef jerky.
it tastes
Yeah,
like
teriyaki beef jerky.
it tastes like pineapple juice and smoked meat. It's
Oh.
awful.
Oh,
So there you go. This is what I get for getting a non-alcoholic drink.
Yeah.
I will never not drink alcohol again. Thank you for solving that problem for
That's
me.
right.
Large
And,
agave cocktail.
Where could one find that?
This was at Home Goods. Of all places, I found they have a normally every now and again we like to have a non-alcoholic drink on a weekday. Like,
Sure, yeah.
with some popcorn or something. Yeah. 30 people when you want to get up the next morning and not be hungover.
I looked up adaptogens.
Yes, what is it?
Substances typically derived from plants that are believed to enhance the body's ability to resist stress and promote overall well-being. It just sounds made up.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it just sounds like anything you want it to be.
If I drink this entire thing, the only thing I'm going to resist is having to hold the sides of the toilet at night.
Yeah, that is liquid
It
meat.
tastes like it smells. It is
Oh.
awful.
Yeah, not great.
And it was $13 for guess how many came in?
Four.
So you might as well drink mom water.
Who green lights this? You know, like as they're like, listen, we're gonna put some money into making this packaging, marketing, like we're gonna distribute this.
So you know,
And multiple people had to have tasted this and been like, yeah, I wanna invest.
the three guys run a taco cart down in Mexico. That's a street vendor.
Yeah.
And they make ceviche on the road for you. And this is
Ooh.
the leftover juice. It's
inside
the machine.
Okay.
Sounds like food poisoning.
They need something to do with the extra juice. Hey, let's take this meat and leftover pineapple juice. You can make something.
Don't throw that out quite
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah, slap it on a label and say, "Ooh, some idiot American will buy this crap."
We can make money on this.
Trust me.
Wow.
There's a guy in North Dakota I'm thinking of who
One-
he's
yeah.
our target market.
Yeah.
This might be worse than Mick Golden. I'm not positive.
Oh man.
I don't know for sure.
It's up there, but doesn't quite jump over.
Yeah.
the-
We're gonna blind taste test you next time. We're gonna
Oh, that's a great idea.
do that the box with so you can see the camera can see the back with the straws down through it and
Pineapple juice and beef jerky on one hand, or makes too much money and pretends to drink beer in Minneapolis?
Oh,
Right. Which one? Which is worse?
oh.
I don't know.
Okay. That was a silencer.
I had to thinking. I'm like, well, I can get behind either,
Yeah, yeah.
either or both.
I'm halfway.
You're doing a great job.
You're really doing it. I would just, I won't. I'm like, nope, this is horrendous, and I won't
Yeah,
finish
I
it.
might cry a little through this. I'm trying not to get too emotional.
Corey, you look like you're gagging over there. Oh,
Well, on that note, we're about at our time. Any parting shots on college hockey or really anything?
You know what? We may have played kids 2 years older than us. We may have lost on average by 4 or more goals,
Yeah.
but God help us, at least 2 or 3 times we did knock someone on their rear end, and we'll take it.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping against all odds that because we have committed to be the parents that are not afraid to let our kids get their asses kicked, that this will benefit us,
Yeah.
because there are parents who won't do it. Like they refuse and they're like, we're not doing that. And we have taken the opposite direction where we're like, oh yeah, our kids are going to get their asses kicked. Yeah, we'll make a team for that. So stay tuned because I'm really hoping that in the end we're like, see, that was a good thing. Remember when you guys got knocked down and then knocked down again?
And then knocked down again. 35-year-old Parker and Jed are gonna be on some psychiatrist help.
Yeah.
You know, it all started when my asshole parents made me play against huge monsters.
Just wanted to play a couple games I had a chance of winning.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
my parents were like, no, this is gonna be good for you. So
Yeah, I had us going 2-2. That didn't happen.
yeah, Matt guessed 2-2
Yeah,
as well.
yeah. We compared notes at the end.
0-4,
Yeah.
whatever.
Well,
But no one, it was permanently physically injured. Mentally and psychologically, I
Yeah.
promised nothing.
yeah.
But physically, we all walked out of the building.
That's right.
We're
That's
right
a
there.
win. That's
Um,
a W.
I did have I wouldn't call it a disagreement, so I will get a parting shot from each of you on this.
Okay.
Is after the first game.
Yeah.
Where I thought we had, a good showing.
Yeah.
The coaches came over as we're like licking our wounds a little and tried to like, oh, you guys did pretty good. and one person, her husband, is like, thanks a lot, that's really nice. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want your bullshit attitude. First of all, you're from South Dakota, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
2, I don't want to hear you.
Don't you
So,
dare
Corey,
tell me everything's
Did you
okay.
like the coach compliments or not after?
I am not a fan of the moral victory at all. I never will be. Like I'll sit here and I've given many a speech after a baseball game where I congratulate the children on a moral victory, knowing I'm slowly dying. So,
Yeah.
I don't mean this. I don't mean any of
yeah,
this.
no, I'm just here
Yeah.
to make you guys feel like you're not awful human beings and neither am I. So I
Yeah.
will tell you the story. I will hate my moral victory, and then I'll wait till all of you leave the parking lot. I'm gonna drink a beer on my tailgate and everyone else is left, and then I'm going home.
Yeah.
Breathing
Yeah.
in and out.
Just pure hate and anger.
Kelly?
Yeah, no, I mean, I get the purpose of them, trying to be like, hey, we just absolutely waxed you guys. And to be fair, they played okay. But yeah, we're kind of doing a social experiment, and I guess stay tuned for the results. Like, is it better to send your kids into a buzzsaw? Do they get better? Or are the parents who set things up real nice so their kids get inflated self-worth, are they on the right track? Stay tuned.
Yeah, that's fair.
We
That's fair. Yeah.
can't know, but we're in one boat and we're riding that
Yeah.
boat. So
I do have another parting shot, but it's unrelated to your question. So maybe you go
I had one
first.
of us, to be fair, these gentlemen were very sincere.
Yeah.
They did what they said.
Of course they were. They won.
Nothing to do with it, and
get away from
I
me.
hope my very disinterested look conveyed that both to them, or like, get out of my face right now.
My parting shot is unrelated to that, but
Okay.
that's amazing. And I can't remember if we talked about the North Dakota High School Hockey State Championship at all on our podcast.
Who won that?
We have not talked
Okay,
much about it.
So here's what I want to say.
Who did win that?
Here's what I want to say.
That was so.
No, this is exactly what I was expecting.
Okay.
So I am sitting in a hotel right after the high school hockey tournament. Not too far down away from one of the coaches of Central's hockey team.
Yeah.
And I may have been wearing my Red River gear almost all season.
Yeah.
And talked about Red River on the podcast and maybe waved a banner from my back of my vehicle like a Trump supporter.
Yeah.
Maybe I did that. I'm not going to commit to that here today.
You can't prove that.
But then, of
What's that,
course,
John?
No, I-
Central wins. And Matt does not say anything to me about them winning. And I'm so mad that he took the higher ground. I cannot stand it. So that's my shot. What a jerk.
Yeah.
Way to take the moral high ground
Yeah.
and run with it and be a better human being than me.
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations, sir.
What an asshole.
Two shadows, yeah, he appreciates the coach comments and is nice in victory. I can't,
Yeah.
I appreciate it, I can't respect it.
No,
Sorry, Matt.
That's what made me think of it. You talk
Yeah,
about how
yeah.
generous and a good human being he was and how appreciative he was.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
did the same shit to me. And we need to change this man.
Yeah.
Kelly, why haven't you ruined him yet?
I try every day of my life, but people like Kyle take him to Harry's
Ah.
like he's doing this week to build him back up. And it's just all that work I put in, brick by brick, building what I have to tear this man down. It's just going to be washed away with one dinner date that makes him feel good. And I don't know, guys, I'm doing the work, but
I feel like you are.
yeah,
Yeah.
I really am. I'm committed to it. So,
And to be fair, he's actually really good with the kids that got hit out there too.
yeah, damn it.
Try to ignore them, you know?
Okay.
They're not hurt if I don't see them.
You're doing fine,
Fine,
buddy.
just fine. Okay, I'm sorry. We're gonna belabor this. How much crying was there going on that bench? There had to be a lot from everyone.
Oh.
Yeah, think about a middle school dance.
Okay.
A girls bathroom and a middle school dance.
No, you look. I didn't ask if you want to dance. You look fat in those pants.
That paints the clearest picture. There's even a smell associated with it
Yeah,
for me.
yeah.
Girls bathroom in a middle school dance. That's very
Yeah,
clear.
crying and some false bravado.
Yeah.
It's not so bad, guys. We can get it. Come on.
You look so good, and he doesn't even know.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
We don't care about him.
I imagine the mascara that was running on that
Oh.
bench right there was pretty bad.
Yeah, there was running mascara.
And there's Matt. Are you dead? Are you dead? No. No, I'm not. Get back out there. You're fine.
What a great standard to compare to. Are you dead?
Yeah.
I don't think so. You're not.
No.
Arms, legs still here.
Yeah.
Get out there.
Yeah.
You're doing fine.
The whole tournament reminded me of the snippet where Charlie Brown gets the baseball hit back at him and all the shit was
Yeah.
Something reminded me of that.
It gave me another thought. Maybe we could write as a group the Sixth Sense 2 about the kids on the bench. When they
Yeah.
actually were dead. Yeah. Plot twist. They were dead the whole time.
Dead. They were.
Yeah.
We could write
Wasn't
a
a good-
#1 diss track. It's gonna start either way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Poor kids.
Dang, poor kids.
Again, they're gonna build character and they're gonna get funny.
Yeah.
They're gonna get funny.
God, they got to get something.
Yeah.
They're already pretty funny.
Yeah.
To their credit.
They are funny. I'll
Yeah.
give them that.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for joining us. It's live from the basement. Recorded from the basement, I guess.
If we don't come back for the next one, if it's just Kyle or Kelly or did they know where we were, someone help us.
Yeah.
Corey had to go to Mexico, the same place that Carol Baskin's husband went. So we expect him
Yeah.
back anytime now.
Hey, free Joe. Yeah.
Time.
Free Joe Exotic.
Yeah.
It's time.
Free it.
Get Joe
I'm
Exotic.
now more worried than I was before.
The world needs this. He healed us all once before in COVID.
He
He
can
can
do
do
it
it
again.
again. He can do it again.
No reason for that guy to be in prison.
Free Joe Exotic.
Yeah. All right. Thanks a lot for joining us. Have a nice evening.
Good night.